time constraints, we both agreed to make a slice in our presentation, and we allotted ourselves 15 minutes. So each, instead of 35 minutes each or 40 minutes each, like you did, like you got. So out of my 15 minutes, I will give back 2 minutes to the source where we came from is silence. So I would like to everybody to calm down, slow the breathing, get away of the thoughts, and be focused again. Sorry for interrupting it. I think I'm a good listener, and Gary, just a couple of minutes ago, said a wonderful thing, which I noted down. When you have a good idea, the best thing is to shut down and to listen to other people who have very good ideas. So I prepared a wonderful, I hope, a wonderful presentation on spiritual leadership. But in order for you to relate to it and to attune to it, I need 25 or 30 minutes, and I don't have those minutes. So it would be impossible it's like a musician when you prepare the sonata and you come on stage and they tell you play only the last piece of the sonata. That's impossible. So
unless you take 25 minutes.
No. That's not. Don't bargain with me. I follow your. Okay, then I can. So I prepared something. I had a dream. I have a dream 4 years ago. This is to create a spiritual company, a spiritual enterprise. And I will share with you the DNA of such an enterprise. So fasten your seatbelts, relax and enjoy. So why spirituality in the workplace? Because working people are getting more and more fed up with being used by corporations for the sole and sacred purpose of pleasing their shareholders for the sake of profit maximizing. The interplay between spirituality and business has become increasingly evident. The essentials of spirituality, spiritual leadership, both on the level of personal development and fulfillment, and that of the growth of the enterprise. What are they? Essentially, it's about releasing streams of human potential, about enabling others to break through their own barriers erected by themselves or by their organizations. It's about the alignment of both the head, the heart and the soul. A spiritual enterprise, what is it? What could it be? It's primarily an uplifting of the enterprise to a higher development level across the board. It makes a clean sweep of traditional autocratic management practices and concepts such as re-engineering, the organization as a machine, the dominant non-inclusive power. What does the transformational toolbox of a spiritual enterprise consist of? It consists of vision, but values, trust, meaningfulness, higher purposefulness, ethics, a sense of community, co-ownership and awareness, higher levels of leadership consciousness. More concretely, what are we talking about? On the one hand, we are still witnessing the dominant scenario of entrepreneurship as we have known it for the last century, which focus on self-interest, short-term profit, isolationistic thinking with the bottom line as a jewel in the crown of the next quarter. In this business model, the harrowing lack of respect for human nature, its creativity and motivation are exposed. On the other hand, we are experiencing an emerging spiritual enterprise scenario, which decisively emphasizes stakeholder value and enterprise culture acting out of a deeper sense of purposefulness, overall well-being and profitability for the common good. These basic values are part of what has been coined as spiritual capital by Dana Zohar and Ian Mitchell in their book. The sense of urgency of shifting from shareholder value to shared and committed value is key in this ongoing transformational process. Clearly, relationships, and not individuals anymore, constitute the building blocks of life and organizations. Chaos and change is the inescapable path for transformation. Participative working together and sharing are the keystones of spiritual leadership in order to survive and thrive in this interconnected world in which natural order is hard attainable with traditional methods and of command and control. On the contrary, unveiled qualities such as presence and awareness of mind, heart and soul are shining as new beacons of light. The source, your source, a principle-centered behavior and leadership where you are guided by intuition, gut feeling and lived inner wisdom. The pivotal challenge of spirituality, what is it? How on earth can we as human beings get reconciled with nature again if we are not able to live in harmony with ourselves first? It's more than obvious that our planet adrift has to be healed, isn't it? And globalization is not the adequate answer to it. Humankind in this millennium is equally adrift and lacks fundamental science. How long are we going to wait to start caring for the inner earth of the human being? Isn't it true and obvious as well that outside, which is nothing more than the objectivation of humankind's inner world, and the inside are the two poles of the same reality? Therefore, an inner mutation, transmutation, is as pivotal as the outer transformation. The motto of spirituality and spiritual leadership, question mark, get realigned with the essential, your core, your inner self, your higher self. Sustainable spiritual values as well as new virtues of management are more than ever called for. To leverage and transform spiritual wisdom into a captivating and compelling way of managing and leading where one dares to trust that entrepreneurial spirit comes from the core of their own wisdom and love. That's also the way to explore new niche markets while making profit, but at the same time being at ease in another world, a world based on trust, faith, love, and even serenity, as well as transcending with flying colors the generally pathetic business as usual mantra and shifting it into a business as unusual and well-being discourse. The unique added value of a spiritual workplace, question mark, its greater efficiency and less self-righteousness. A reinvented and revisited working environment focused on creating working conditions, guaranteeing a sense of lived experience, belonging, solidarity, tolerance, mutual assistance and trust between the co-workers. Why is it that some companies make the leap from a good one to a great one and others don't? After all, the goal is not to proclaim that mediocrity is the rule of competence, is it? The goal is rather to make out of a competent company an excellent one, isn't it? In order to make that leap from good to great, you have to go beyond the curse of competence. Spiritual leadership, back to basics, simplicity and presence. When you look at the world differently, you also become aware of your own creative role and the potential to co-create that world. The shift in perspective, which enables you to see, feel and access new opportunities, and also connect with deeper layers of learning, This is the key to creating change that serves the whole, ourselves, organizations, and communities as well. As Marcel Proust said once, the real act of discovery consists not in finding new lands, but in seeing with new eyes. In a seminal book, a friend of mine, Luc de Brabander, explains the difference between innovation and creativity. Changing reality is innovation. This requires action by a team, is continuous, takes a long time, and delivers something new to a system. Its impact is measurable and certain, and it requires the use of tools and project management. Creativity, on the other hand, changes perception and requires thinking and feeling. It's a challenge for individuals, and it is discontinuous, taking an instant. Its impact cannot be measured, and it requires learning methods fueled by questions, surprise, and incomplete answers. To really change, he says, we have to change twice. Not only do we have to change things, but we have to change the way we see things. Innovation, thus, is the people's capacity to change reality, and creativity is the capacity of people to change their perception of reality. The key to this shift in perspective and to inner leadership is tuning within. The critical shift in perspective will be triggering a whole new generation of leaders, spiritual leaders, rediscovering and reclaim the soul of business, ? A renaissance of values is required. Rediscovering and reclaiming the soul in business means touching once again upon what was once an essential part of our human identity and DNA, our soul. Working with soul is the quintessence of human experience, transformational thinking and feeling at a higher level, a higher frequency. Working with soul means business with a strongly recognizable identity. It means building solid, lasting relationships. It means inspiring trust and attracting customers by integrity rather than exploitative advertising. In doing business with soul is no longer any place for anxiety and fear that unfortunately so massively dominates today's business climate. The rebirth of values also means the rebirth of people as healed and whole human beings. This is also the emergence of a new leadership paradigm, or leadership, spiritual leadership. Let's skip the paradigm word. Human beings and their creativity are the cornerstones again of the working environment. Intuition is becoming increasingly important. By attaching sufficient attention to detail, by treating employees with dignity, and by setting store by vision and integrity, one reaches excellence in the long term. The core of this revolution is spiritually responsible entrepreneurship. Its heart and soul placing gentleness on a par with sober judgment and practicality. In this way, employees can express themselves in their acts and not, as it unfortunately is so often the case, be stored by stress and an absence of prospects and meaning. Working with heart and soul requires every employee to commit his or her entire person. With that innovative drive, such employees represent genuine added value and ensure the enterprise steadily growing success. Inner and emotional involvement becomes a passion, and enterprise is a success story. What is spiritual leadership? Creating a space for silence, presence, also a breathing space of letting go. We don't only and always need action, do we? Also contemplation, stepping back and seeing things from a distance. Stress gives way to a slowing down. The head and the brain are allowed to rest, and the heart takes over. Only someone who loves himself can also love other people. Only men and women who overcome self-denigration and self-pity gain real contact with themselves and others. The gaping gulf we find in ourselves is due to the fact that we find it so hard to forgive ourselves and others. By allowing the heart to speak more and more, new worlds open us to us, and we get closer to the core of our being, our loving and beating heart, also in the workplace. Once we apply the principle of these higher states of consciousness to the business world, a real breakthrough emerges. Only organizations with soul will be able to survive these turbulent times. Working with soul means, first of all, insourcing again. one's own being, becoming an integrated personality in which head, heart and soul are realigned and operate in harmony with one another. Employees who are not merely liabilities, but rather an enterprise's greatest assets, aren't they? They are reclaiming their human dignity by increasingly striving for authenticity and integrity. Indeed, what's the workplace really about? It's about relationships, about human behavior and their interaction, isn't it? How on earth is it possible then that the basic values of human nature and nature work itself are still not or hardly ever respected, if at all, in most of our daily work? Spiritual entrepreneurship, in essence, it's about self-realization. Once applied to and allowed in the workplace, it may well one day effect a Copernican revolution in work and society. People in the workplace deserve again that full attention is paid to their human nature and dignity, don't they? I'm almost finished. Spiritual entrepreneurship, the primary focused on healed, thus whole and holy human being again. Soulfulness, genuineness, character, authenticity and integrity are the essential ingredients. Management is about doing the things right. Leadership is about doing the right things. But spiritual leadership is about doing the right things right. It may sound easy, but it's not so easy. It calls for a totally new approach and attitude. The power that we draw from within ourselves. That's the time that you experience happiness in the highest form. You emanate joy, creativity and sheer involvement. So-called problems melt away like snow in the sun, making way for an overwhelming sense of transcendence and freedom. And the good news, everyone has the ability and the potential, power to access this state of flow, as coined by world-renowned psychologist and Hungarian birth, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. At work, during play and in relationships. Once you have grasped the concept of flow, you learn how to live in harmony with yourself, with society and with the universe. You return to the state of complete happiness, which is in fact everyone's birthright, isn't it? New spiritual dimensions are emerging in the world of entrepreneurship. Center of attention are human beings with their dignity, emotionality and qualities, and not so much in the long run stultifying bottom line. It's becoming crystal clear that the golden cause of the old-style economic thinking, productivity, hunting for profit, and lust for power have had their day. The future of enterprise and the enterprise of the future lies in its values and its vision, in social inclusiveness, the importance of intuitive, female, even ethically, and let's be bold, corporate spiritual responsibility instead of social responsibility. Only this way can a business enterprise be a positive force for service to and change in our world. Spiritual entrepreneurship dare to exit the logic of power and to enter a new logic of competence and excellence, sensitivity and genius, of femininity too. Once you commit yourself to take this step, you bridge the gulf between your professional efficiency and human dimension. Is there any other way to achieve a harmonious balance between work and human being? You access again your inner source and strength, and from this core, your limits are constantly stretched and expanded. Transformational spiritual leaders are leaders of the future. They will safely lead the massive changes that major enterprises are called on to make in the coming decades, in times of crisis and chaos. Our ultimate purpose is to fulfill our spiritual destiny, isn't it? What is the source of all problems? What if the source of all problems lies in our thinking? And what if the source and solutions of these problems are hidden in our heart and soul? What a liberating insight. The true challenge remains to transcend our preconceived concepts and pseudo-problems and plug into a spiritual grid of higher frequency. To reconnect with higher frequency is in fact to replug in spirit altogether. Yet, the key to success starts with a true and thorough transformation of oneself. Thank you.